Hi students, myself Dr. K. Shivaya, Department of Pharmacology, Shantiram College of Pharmacy, Nandyara. Our next antibiotic is chloramphenicol. So this is one of antibiotic. This antibiotic we can obtain from Streptomyces venezuelae. So it is isolated in 1947 from soil at Venezuela. So come to the mechanism of action of these chloramphenicol. It inhibits the protein synthesis. The chloramphenicol inhibits the protein synthesis in bacteria and very less effect or very less extent in eukaryotic cells also. Eukaryotic cells, they have the nucleus membrane, this cell. So our cells also have the nucleus membrane. So it also affect the our cells also, but it is a very less extent. So the drug really penetrates bacterial cells probably by diffusion process, facilitated diffusion. So it's binding to the 50S ribosomes reversibly, binding to the 50S ribosomes reversibly. Although it's binding to tRNA, binding of tRNA at the codon response recognized site on the 30S ribosomal subunit. The chloramphenicol, it's bind to the first 50S ribosomal is a binding reversibly. And also it is bind to the 30S ribosome subunit, but binding on the binding site of tRNA at the codon recognizing site. So it is undistributed. So the drug appeared to prevent the binding of amino acid containing end of the amino acid tRNA to the receptor site on the 50S ribosomal subunit. So this interaction between the peptide transferase and amino acid substrate cannot occur because of this effect. The interaction between the peptide transferase and its amino acid substrate cannot occur, and peptide bond formation is inhibited. We can observe in the diagram. So this is 30S ribosome, and this is 50S subunit ribosome. So this is codons 5' to 3'. This is one amino acid. Here is one more amino acid. So this is say actually here it is given. So like this 3' to 5' it will go. So here one amino acid. This is A site means acceptor site. The P site means peptide bond formation site. So these chloramphenicol, it's bind to the amino acid. It's bind to the, that is ribosome recognizing codon recognizing site on the 30S ribosomal subunit. So because of this effect, so here the one amino acid it will come, here it will bind. But understand my point. So the drug appears to prevent the binding of amino acid containing end of the amino acid tRNA to the receptor site on the 50S ribosomal subunit. So here one amino acid binded here in the receptor site at the end here the chloramphenicol, it is binded because of this effect. It will not bind with the peptide transferase. Here amino acid here binded here first, but here the end chloramphenicol, it's binded to the one end position of the amino acid, and it inhibit the another amino acid. So because of it inhibit the peptide transferase reaction. So this reaction is inhibited. And also already we discussed it also, it's bind to 50S ribosomal subunit also. It is bind to the 50S ribosome unit. 50S ribosome units. So it inhibit the interaction between the peptide transfer and its amino acid peptide cannot occur. So peptide bond not form. So the chloramphenicol also can inhibit mitochondrial protein synthesis in mammalian cells, perhaps because mitochondrial ribosomes resembles bacterial ribosomes. So more than they do the ATS ribosome, cytoplasmic ribosomes of the mammalian cells. So 70S ribosomes, you know, 80S ribosomes, you know, 70S ribosomes, it is present in prokaryote. 80S ribosomes are present in eukaryotes. So the chloramphenicol, it's a bind with these 80S ribosomes, but it is a very lesser extent, very less effect. So the peptide transferase of bovine mitochondrial ribosome, but not cytoplasmic ribosomes, is susceptible to the inhibitory action of the chloramphenicol. So many erythrocyte cells seem to be particularly sensitive to the drug. So this is the chloramphenicol effect and the mechanism of action. Next, come to the pharmacokinetic actions. The chloramphenicol is available for the oral administration in two forms: active drug itself and inactive. So the prodrug, chloramphenicol palmitate. So it is available in two forms. A direct drug we can give, direct drug, and the other one is a prodrug. So prodrug, already you know what is the meaning of a prodrug. So the prodrug is a type of formulation after entering into the GIT system. It is converted into active form either in GIT system or in it reach to the systemic circulation, whether by the enzymes. It is converted into active form. So here the chloramphenicol is inactive form. Palmitate chloramphenicol is a palmitate which is inactive form. When it is reached to systemic circulation, it is converted into active form. So hydrolysis of the ester bond chloramphenicol palmitate is this is the hydrolysis takes place. Hydrolysis of hydrolase enzyme, it is required. It is present in the liver enzyme. So liver, it is present in the liver. So that hydrolysis of the ester bond of chloramphenicol palmitate is accomplished rapidly and almost completely by pancreatic lipase in the duodenum under normal physiological condition. So in the duodenum only it is converted, then after that it is reached to the systemic circulation, absorption. So the chloramphenicol then is absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract. So peak concentration 10 to 30 micrograms per ml occur within 2 to 3 hours after administration of the 1 gram of dose. So in patients with gastrointestinal disease or in newborns, the bioavailability is greater for chloramphenicol than the chloramphenicol palmitate, probably because of the incomplete hydrolysis of the data. So well absorption, simply we have to write, I already said that the absorption is well absorption, but this drug also we can give the prodrug also. What is the prodrug? You know, after metabolism it converted into active form. So that is the absorption. So the preparation of chloramphenicol for parenteral also we can use is the water soluble inactive sodium succinate preparation. So the hydrolysis of chloramphenicol succinate may be due to exteresis of the liver, kidneys, and lungs. So finally, so in the IV route also they can give the chloramphenicol with the sodium succinate preparation. They can give the with sodium succinate preparation. The hydrolysis of chloramphenicol succinate maybe due to esterases of the liver, kidneys, and lungs. So these is converted to form the chloramphenicol succinate in the presence of enzymes, that is esterases, that enzymes present in liver, kidneys, and lungs. So there it is converted. More simply, what we have to understand here, chloramphenicol drug, it is available direct drug or prodrug. If you take an oral, the drug, the chloramphenicol prodrug, if you take an oral, in the duodenum, it is converted into active form and it is absorbed. The absorption also well absorption. Simply we have to understand. Then if you given in a parental route, because of this water solubility effect, we can give with the sodium succinate. So when it is chloramphenicol and sodium succinate preparation, this formation preparation hydrolyzed to form the chloramphenicol succinate. How these chloramphenicol succinate is formed? How these hydrolysis takes place? In the presence of liver enzyme, kidney enzyme, and lungs enzyme, that is esterases. That's the thing. So the chloramphenicol succinate itself is rapidly cleared from plasma by the kidneys. So when it is reached to the kidneys, then it is easily eliminated. So the renal clearance of the prodrug may be affect the overall bioavailability of chloramphenicol because up to 20 to 30% of the dose may be excreted prior to the hydrolysis. So poor renal function in the neonate and the other states of renal insufficiency result in increased plasma concentration of the chloramphenicol succinate. So here finally what we have to understand, it is eliminated through urine. But how much percentage? So 20 to 30% of the dose may be excreted prior to the hydrolysis. Here the 20% of the drug and 30%, 20 to 30% of the drug excreted through urine without hydrolysis takes place. And as it is ga drug enter అయిన వెంటనే as it is ga వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. Remaining 80 to 80% of the drug after hydrolysis, the chloramphenicol succinate is excreted. So finally, what we have to tell here, the entire drug will be excreted through urine. If patient have any neonates, means the children's child, very babies, small babies, the kidneys not developed that much. That's why the drug is more effective, and it is excreted very difficult insufficiency. So the concentration automatically chloramphenicol succinate is more in that babies. Okay, because of the poor renal function, renal insufficiency, because of these the neonates, in the neonates the chloramphenicol concentration increases. Next, distribution. It is a well distribution in all body fluids and readily reaches to therapeutic concentration in the cerebrospinal fluid. So well distribution, It also reaches to the cerebrospinal fluid, nothing but it is reached to the brain also. Approximately 60% of those in plasma. So range 45% to 99% in the presence or absence of meningitis. So the drug actually may accumulate in the brain tissue also. Chloramphenicol is present in bile, is excreted, is secreted into milk and readily traverses the placental barrier and transfers the placental barrier. It also penetrates into the aqueous humor after the subconjunctival injection. So these chloramphenicol, the drug is, the distribution is very, very effective. Okay. And also secreted into the milk. It is also transferred to the placental barrier and it reaches to the baby. It is also penetrated to the aqueous humor. Aqueous humor means in the eye have the aqueous humor. It is a liquid present in it is reached there also. So the chloramphenicol, when it is a subject conjunctival injection, when you given the subject conjunctival injection. Fate means here the metabolism. It means metabolism. So the half-life of the chloramphenicol has been correlated with the plasma bilirubin concentrates. About 50% of the chloramphenicol, about 50% of chloramphenicol is bound to plasma proteins. So you know what is the protein binding? The drug bind to the protein, we can call it as the protein binding. So after reaching into the systemic circulation, it is a well distribution. After distribution, it's bind with the proteins up to 50%. Suppose if you take 100 grams, in that 100 grams, 50 grams, it is binded. Such binding is reduced in cirrhotic patients and the neonates, but this binding very less in cirrhotic patients, means liver patients, and in neonates means babies. So that liver patients and liver, whatever the liver affected patients and the babies have the more drug concentration in the systemic circulation. So that's why the babies more affected from the chloramphenicol. Next, the half-life of the active drug 4 hours is not significantly changed in patients with renal failure as compared with those normal renal function. So it is not confused here. In renal patient, if any, it's not effect. Renal patient, renal failure means they are the drug is easily eliminated, not filtered. So it is less effective in renal patients. So full doses of the chloramphenicol must still be given to achieve the therapeutic concentration of the active drug in anemia. So here we have to understand point as it is metabolized in the liver enzymes, kidney enzymes, and lung enzymes, and also it's bind to the proteins, that is up to 50%. But in neonates and cirrhotic patients, not that much binding. Not that much binding, very less, maybe 20% or 10% will be there. Because of that, 80% of the drug present in neonates. The major route of elimination of chloramphenicol is hepatic metabolism in form to inactive glucuronide. See, liver enzymes, liver to secrete the hydrolysis enzymes and esterase enzymes. Okay, then after hydrolysis of these, already we discussed to form the chloroform succinate. After this formation of the chloroform succinate or direct drug chloramphenicol or succinate. These two drugs, it's reached to the liver enzymes again. When it is reached to the liver enzymes, the conjugation reaction takes place. Already, you studied maybe the liver reactions, enzymatic reactions, hydrolysis reactions, reduction reactions, and conjugation reactions. So here the chloramphenicol undergoes a metabolism in the conjugation reaction to form the glucuronide. So this is inactive. So this metabolite as well as the chloramphenicol itself, as it is excreted in the urine by filtration and secretion. But in neonates, these in neonates or liver cirrhosis or liver diseases, if it is not metabolized, the concentration of the chloramphenicol more in the body. The concentration of the chloramphenicol more in the body, but it affects adverse effects. The adverse effects. That's why here the liver is to convert the chloramphenicol to chloramphenicol glucuronide. But don't confuse here. Chloramphenicol drug మనం డైరెక్ట్ గా అయినా తీసుకోవచ్చు, లేదా ప్రోడ్రగ్ గా అయినా తీసుకోవచ్చు, లేదా పేరెంటల్ రూట్ ద్వారా అయినా తీసుకోవచ్చు. ఫైన్. ఆఫ్టర్ రీచ్డ్ ఇంటూ ది సిస్టమిక్ సర్క్యులేషన్, అంటే ఓరల్ ద్వారా తీసుకున్నప్పుడు అబ్జార్ప్షన్ జరుగుతుంది, వెల్ అబ్జార్ప్షన్ ఉంది. ఆఫ్టర్ అబ్జార్ప్షన్, if the direct drug is there, it will directly act, chloramphenicol. Fine. And also it's bind to the 50% of the proteins in the blood. So 50% of the protein bind. Fine. Then after that, the chloramphenicol it reached to the liver. There enzymatic reaction takes place. That is a conjugation reaction. That is to form the chloramphenicol glucuronide. This is regarding chloramphenicol direct. Next, if you take a chloramphenicol palmitate, these chloramphenicol palmitate, if you taken through oral route in the duodenum, it is converted into chloramphenicol. Chloramphenicol palmitate is converted into chloramphenicol. That chloramphenicol absorbed into the blood, that chloramphenicol bind to the proteins up to 50%. Then after that, it reached into the liver. There enzymatic reaction, that is conjugation reaction, takes place. That is to form the chloramphenicol glucuronide. Next, then come to the parental route. Chloramphenicol with sodium succinate. If the preparation if given in a parental route, so why they given with along with the sodium succinate? Maybe for the distribution purpose, because of chloramphenicol is water soluble. So when it is given to form the chloramphenicol succinate in the presence of esterase enzyme. That esterase enzyme present in the blood. So these enzymes coming from the liver only. It is present in already in a blood. So that's why it is immediately to form the chloramphenicol succinate. Understand my point? So hydrolysis takes place into esterases enzymes to form the chloramphenicol bind with the sodium succinate to reaction takes place to produce the chloramphenicol succinate. These chloramphenicol succinate reach to the liver. There again conjugation reaction takes place to form the chloramphenicol glucuronide. So finally, all formulations to form the chloramphenicol glucuronide. These chloroform glucuronide is inactive form and it is excreted through urine. That's all. So over a period of 24 hours period, 70% to 90% of the oral administered dose is excreted. About 5% to 10% is the biological active form. అంటే నువ్వు ఇచ్చిన డ్రగ్ లో మొత్తం ఓవరాల్ గా 5 to 10% మాత్రమే యాక్టివ్ ఫామ్ గా వర్క్ చేస్తుంది విత్ ఇన్ 24 hours. So patients with hepatic cirrhosis have decreased metabolic clearance and doses should be adjusted. Already we discussed. Those patients liver affected or neonate patients. These neonate patients, the liver enzymes are not developed, and those patients already affected with the liver, they are not metabolized properly chloramphenicol. That chloramphenicol it's leads to the adverse effects. So inhibit the synthesis of proteins in the minor mitochondrial membranes, synthesized in the mitochondria, so inhibiting the ribosomal transferase. See, already I said that it inhibits the protein synthesis our cells also by inhibiting the ribosomal peptide transferase enzyme, ATS ribosomes. These include subunits of the cytochrome C oxide, cytochrome C reductase, and the proton transfer ATPase. Much of the toxicity observed with this drug can be attributed to these effects. The most important adverse effect of chloramphenicol is bone marrow. Chloramphenicol affects the hematopoietic system in two ways. So the major adverse effects is, first one is hematopoietic. Non-dose related. Here the dose is not impacted. The minimum drug, if it is reached to the systemic circulation, it produces the aplastic anemia. Aplastic anemia. Aplastic means the cell division not takes place. That leads to anemia, especially RBC cells. Next, dose related. If the dose increases, the toxic increases. So that is represents the anemia, leukopenia, and thrombocytopenia and other effects. Okay, so three are affected. So already you know aplastic anemia, it seems to occur more commonly in individuals which undergo prolonged therapy and especially exposed to the drug are more the one occasion. So when it is affected the aplastic anemia, minimum it is not dose related. If the patient the patient not taken the overdose, but if the patient taken the low dose only, correct perfect dose only, but he exposed continuously for long time, prolonged therapy, then he can get the patient with the aplastic anemia. Next, a genetic predisposition suggested by the occurrence of pancytopenia in identical twins. So these cytopenia also affected in the identical twins. If the pregnancy patients taken with the chloramphenicol reach to the baby, it's affect the pancytopenia. Although the incidence of the reactions low, one in approximately 30 or more courses of therapy, the fatality rate is high. when bone marrow aplastic is complete and there is a higher risk of acute leukemia in those who recover. So in the pregnancy patient, if the chloramphenicol, if it is taken, it's affect the very dangerously, especially anemia affect the babies as well as pregnant women, and also acute leukemia, also affected. So the risk of aplastic anemia does not contraindicate the use of chloramphenicol in situation in which it is necessary. However, it is emphasized that the drug should never be employed in undefined situations or in diseases readily, safely, and effectively treatable with other antimicrobial agents. So that's why the chloramphenicol we have to use properly. It is needed if it is needed. Otherwise, you don't use the chloramphenicol antibiotic other than the other antibiotics. So better to prefer the other antibiotics because of this chloramphenicol produces the severe adverse effects. If it is necessary, the chloramphenicol drug is, if it is necessary for that, you can use. Otherwise, don't use. If the second dose and dose related toxic, the dose is if you increase it, if you take a high dose, so it produces the bone marrow suppression. Bone marrow suppression. When the bone marrow suppressed, so there is no RBC production. There is no RBC production. This is blood. There is no blood production. You know what is the blood? What is the importance of blood? You know, reversible bone marrow suppression. The clinical picture is marked initially by some clinical studies they did. When the chloramphenicol drug is given, bone marrow suppression, the RBC levels are decreased. After withdraw from the chloramphenicol, again the bone marrow to produce the RBC production. So because this is reversible, this we can call as suppression అవుతుంది మళ్ళీ వస్తుంది, suppression అవుతుంది మళ్ళీ వస్తుంది అని అర్థం. So when the drug is given, suppressible. When the drug is stopped, again the bone marrow ready to produce the RBC. So that is the thing. Gray baby syndrome. You know, says a chloramphenicol toxicity may develop in units, especially premature babies, when they are exposed to excessive doses of the drug. If the pregnant woman taken, or if the baby after birth, if the baby also, if he taken the chloramphenicol heavy doses, is gray baby syndrome. The condition it will become. Usually begin 2 to 9 days after treatment is started. Within 2 to 9 days only. So the manifestation in the first 24 hours are what are the symptoms we can observe. If the symptoms observed, we have to stop with the drug. So 24 hours vomiting, refusal to suck, irregular and rapid respiration, and abdominal distension, periods of cyanosis, and the passage of loose and green stools. Soon they become flaccid and turn a ashy gray color and become a hypothermic. So these step by step the symptoms it will come if the patient continues, if the baby continues taking these chloramphenicol can go step by step symptoms increases, and finally the baby become ashen gray color and also hypothermic, body temperature చాలా తక్కువగా ఉంటుంది, and stools very green color. So because of these adverse effect gray baby syndrome, it's very dangerous. So two mechanisms are apparently responsible for the chloramphenicol toxicity in units. This is a failure of the drug to become conjugated to the allied acid. In the neonate patients, the liver enzymes are not developed to, there is no conjugation reaction in the liver. It's not converted into chloramphenicol glucuronide. So because of this, ఈ chloramphenicol అలా కన్వర్ట్ కాకోకుంటే మాత్రము ఆ డ్రగ్ యొక్క ఎఫెక్టివ్ అనేది ఎక్కువగా పనిచేస్తుంది. సో దట్ ఈస్ వన్ మినిట్. నెక్స్ట్, inadequate renal excretion. Already we discussed the babies not that much efficiency to filter the glomerular filtration is not that much effective. The babies are not. So renal insufficiency, because of renal insufficiency, the chloramphenicol, it is not eliminated properly. Because of this, the drug more, the drug concentration more in the blood. Because of this, affected. So both exchange transfusion and charcoal hypoperfusion have been used to treat overdose with chloramphenicol in infants. Also, these when a dose engaged exchange of transfusion. So blood ni వేరే చోటుకి పంపించేసి ఆ క్లోరాంఫెనిక్ ఫిల్టర్ చేసి ఆ క్లోరాంఫెనికల్ ని వేరే చోటుకి పంపించేసి మళ్ళీ అగైన్ బ్లడ్ ఇస్తారు. దాన్ని మనం వెంటనే ఎక్స్చేంజ్ ట్రాన్స్ఫ్యూజన్, ఎక్స్చేంజ్ ఆఫ్ బ్లడ్. Hypersensitive reaction, although the reactively uncommon, already I said that hypersensitive reaction, it is produces angioedema is a rare composition. Jarley's eczema reaction have been observed shortly after institution of chloramphenicol therapy for the syphilis, brucellosis, and typhoid fever. Other adverse effects: nausea, vomiting, unpleasant taste. I said already these are all common. Diarrhea and perineal irritation and allergic reaction, some other effects. So therapy with chloramphenicol must be limited to infections for which benefits outweigh the risk of potential toxicities. When other antibiotic drugs are not available, so that are equally effective and potentially less toxic than the chloramphenicol, they should be used. So especially we can give these drug a wide range of activity, gram positive, gram negative RBT, but it is not preferred. But a few diseases only we can use it. That is typhoid fever, bacterial meningitis, anaerobic infections. Any it is there, we can use rickettsial disease and brucellosis. These diseases only it is used. Some other also drug interactions takes place with especially with dicumarol, phenytoin, and chloropropamide and dolutamide interactions. So these drug we cannot give with this drug. We cannot give with these dicumarol, phenytoin, and chloropropamide and dolutamide because of interaction takes place. It's adverse effects more affected, or the drug will be inactive. So conversely, the drugs alter the elimination of chloramphenicol. So these drugs, these 4 drugs affect the elimination of chloramphenicol. So chronic administration of phenobarbital and acute administration of the antibiotic preferably because enzyme induction and maybe result subtherapeutic concentration of the drug. So few drugs increases the activity of chloramphenicol, few drugs decreases the activity. So these are the drug interactions. So regarding to summary, the antimicrobial agents discussed in all, what is the effects and the toxicities. So the tetracycline is a broad spectrum activity against aerobic and anaerobic gram-positive gram-negative. This is aerobic. Tetracycline is in aerobic, gram-negative and gram-positive. Which microorganism resistance to tetracyclines? Which microorganisms resistance to tetracyclines has reduced their clinical and usefulness over the last decades. So chlorophyll is not a first-line antibiotic because of its potential for causing aplastic anemia. Cannot preferable. So it is indicated for the treatment of life-threatening infections such as bacterial meningitis and rickettsial infections only. సో ఏవైతే లైఫ్ థ్రెటనింగ్ ఉన్నాయో వాటిలో మాత్రమే మనం క్లోరాంఫెనికల్ డ్రగ్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ఎస్పెషల్లీ బ్యాక్టీరియల్ మెనింజైటిస్ అండ్ రికెట్సియల్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్, ఇట్ ఈస్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ టైఫాయిడ్ ఫీవర్. సో these are the questions regarding chloramphenicol. What are the sources of chloramphenicol, mechanism of action of chloramphenicol, pharmacokinetics of chloramphenicol, adverse effects of chloramphenicol, and uses of chloramphenicol. So these are the recording session. Thank you one and all.